This is going to sound painful. All right, so I'm not going to talk too much, so you'll know why I've got some slides, and the slides I'm going to share with everyone here. I think Quantum is going to load them on their website, so you'll be able to have access to everything you're going to see here.
Is it painful?
No, it's not painful. It just so I'll give you the story here. I'm standing in the way of some people here.
It worked.
Okay, now to the immaterial. The greatest blessing I have is friends like Ed and Gino who are going to help me this morning, and all of you that will have patience with me as I try to deliver some hopefully useful information, and give me a pass for not being prepared. If I thought this would have happened, I wouldn't have agreed to do it. But Donise Welsh, who many of you know on our team, had the very same surgery with the same doctor about a month ago. She had her voice back in 2 days. So like I said earlier, they're telling me now it could be a month or it could be 6 months. And going back, friends say the longer the better. Okay. And the slides will be shared. I'm going to go through these, and then I'm going to turn this over to Gino and Ed. All starts with jobs. And this is kind of where unemployment is. It varies. Colorado, we're only 7.5. California's 13, roughly. Michigan's 15. South Carolina's 14. So on and so forth. And whether it's economy.com or other economic forecasting, there's no one right now calling for any improvement really this year, and maybe some modest improvement next year. Interest rates have been highly favorable for us for the last 8 to 12 months, mainly because the feds are buying mortgage-backed securities so far over $1 trillion. And that's keeps the rates down, but their authority and ability to purchase ends in 60 days. And so we do expect rates to rise 0.5 point to 1 point by April or May, because they can't keep printing $1 trillion in cash. This was the projections from Harvard and the Commerce Department, household growth for the next 10 years. But for 08 and 09, because all of our kids are staying home because they can't get jobs or don't want to get jobs, as the case may be. And so with unemployment staying high, we expect new household formation to remain well below long-term trends. And they are critical to housing sales. In the early part of 2008, we were retained by some of the companies that have tens of billions of dollars invested in our industry. And they had one question they asked our help answering, which is, what is normal? What are normal housing sales? Putting aside the work, what we came up with, surprisingly, over 35 years, on average, 5% of all households will buy a home each year. And it has proved remarkable how close that is, even when we look at specific metropolitan areas. And to give you an idea, by comparison, in 2005, we were running at 7.5%, 50% above the normal, sustainable level. We said last year to our clients that actually last year housing sales were at 5%. So that was normal. That was normal. This year, normal household growth, a little suppressed demand. We may see it increase, but not like all the increase we think you're going to see this year will be in the first 6 months. I laughed yesterday, Wall Street Journal, big story. Softness is now, pricing is now occurring in the upper and middle price brackets, which proves that Bob Haggerty of the Wall Street Journal himself still has his head stuck in the sand, because we told him that a year ago and showed him the data to prove it. They're just now coming out with the story, oh geez, there's pricing softness in the upper and middle high price brackets. I told him to come out and look at my house, which we bought for $900,000 in Denver 10 years ago. It's worth $700 now. It's a really good return. Yeah, the good news was when the mortgage company called to say my 10-year mortgage was coming up and they weren't going to renew it. They were going to balloon me. And I asked him which of the 2 board members I should mail the keys to, because it's a local bank in Colorado. Whereupon a more senior person called me the next day to offer me a 20-year extension of my current mortgage. Delinquency rates are still rising. And we're seeing this now in prime borrowers because of unemployment and pressures on general economy. For all of 2009, we did about 5.4 million sales. To give you an idea, 05 was 8.3. That's just how far we've come. But let me, if I'm not the first, hopefully you'll hear this, that 5.4 million is roughly 5% of all the households we had last year. Give you an idea of the drop in commission revenues. It's a $27 billion drop. Number of realtors only dropped 15%. So competition is just beginning to intensify. As the market has leveled, we'll start seeing a little bit of growth. Good agents are going to be fighting like crazy for good assignments, which is what caused a 15-year drop in the commission rate. So we expect competition will begin to intensify again later this year. Just to make it really simple, mortgage, title, and settlement services are now getting the administration we have has put the new GFE into place, new FHA capital requirements to originate FHA mortgages. In some cases, they're increasing the capital requirements from $250,000 to $2.5 million of capital in the bank, which means for brokers who are in joint ventures that over the next 2 years, they're going to have to come up with another $1 million in capital for their joint ventures. It's a good time to be putting new regulations. And we see the growth for next year modest. We are at odds with the Realtor Association and their forecasts, but we always have been. It's a point of pride with us. If you go back 5 years,